unfortunately just lost gems, but they could get back in because of that Sandy Super. However, they lack range. So they actually can't really poke down this defensive comp to actually create the opening for Bull to go in. Portox is having to dive against like multiple full health brawlers with like shielding right into Fire Murillo, Satisfier as well, drops legs, has shield. They're very durable. You don't have a way to make that way in any easier for you. You can't sort of poke them down. So moving on to Hot Zone, I think that you've got to start to respect Acre Lovers here. This is their second time in the monthly finals. They've earned their place. They know how to counter draft you when you make a very obvious telegraph. So something a bit subtle, maybe something a little bit more well-rounded might be in order for Bounty Hunters here.
Okay, first pick of Sirius for Acre Lovers. This one was given to them by Bounty Hunters. Typically, you want to just go ahead and get rid of that if your opponent has the first pick, but some other things were higher priority. I get the Chester, I get the Crow. These are like the two best anti-tanks in the game, basically. And Poco could be utilized for cheese. It doesn't look like Bounty Hunters are terribly interested in opening up walls and like picking a B or something just to counteract that. They did have the M's for themselves that they really wanted to deal with the Poco, but I digress. They picked the M's themselves. Leon is always going to be a really solid option, just top brawler in the game right now. Now Bull from Acre Lovers. This is a chance for Bounty Hunters to fire back. My concern is that they might not have sustain on the point.
Leon's really powerful right now. Due to just how his kit is interacting at the moment. Definitely a high priority pick, and was last month as well, right? You know, the fact you can sort of step in and nuke a number of these brawlers from long range, especially Meeple, like I would not want to be anywhere in Portox's postcode. They do have this M's that is end up snowballing the game just from that level of map control from free bodies, right? It's the same way Larry and Laurie used to be quite oppressive when they were first brought into the game, because you get super really easily, and Laurie's tanky as heck. Was tankier anyway. Here's the loot. So all control brawlers here with Portox having the ability to like try and sneak up, and you want to be pressuring people. I don't think you want to like opt into like, you know, playing around the mansions or, you know, like, you know, getting outdone when that super is available. But I don't think there's a whole lot of synergy with Meeple in this Acre Lovers comp necessarily. It's just a good mid-range brawler.
It'll be able to keep people out of mid, basically. Also, Sirius, like, his attack is part, like, projectile that goes straight forward, one that goes over while he's, like, halfway a thrower, so he should be able to get some stuff off of that if someone gets trapped in the mansions. You also have the break of the bushes that's useful from Meeple. Just general CC, essentially. He's good for control, good for damage. He's going to catch Portox invis on the right side. That's pretty useful. His position completely revealed.
Stunned up by his own clone, bro. That is so brutal. It's important to remember that Sirius doesn't just copy the brawler, but also like their on-hit effects. So you do have to be very, very careful to copy loot. Here's that mansions though, and it's worth pointing out Sirius, when it's just the thrower mode that's hitting, doesn't really hit very hard. You do want the direct projectile also to connect.
Yeah, he's doing about 1k damage per shot, but it's enough to keep Prosy low. If you can keep him on one shot, then it's enough to keep him away from Meeple. That's going to be a pretty good defense on the right side, but it opened up some room for Acre Lovers to move in. It's a preemptive super from Wesley to follow that. Bounty Hunters still do not have the advantage in terms of percentage. It's going to be some solid damage all the way around. Satisfier is actually ready to move in with his super. Going to go for it onto Wesley, but disintegrated in close range versus both Lou and Leon.
It just ceased to exist. That's that Leon damage out of absolutely nowhere. Portox is able to go in now, and again, this Meeple super, very, very powerful. The fact that you not only can create terrain, you can also, you know, abuse it with that super matters. Satisfier's taking too much poke damage now, and yet stunned up in that hypercharged Lou super. There's nothing for the Evil to do but to walk back towards base, and now Bounty Hunters have gotten a very healthy lead.
Okay, some solid damage from the M's Shadow. Spawned by Sin just moments ago. Should be getting another clone here in a moment. Satisfier going to come in with a super. It's perfectly parried by Prosy on the right side. Portox now absorbing some of the shots for him and rotating backwards. Prosy's going to take some serious damage. It's enough for a one shot there for Fire Murillo. Things are open for Acre Lovers to move in. They have a lot of ground to cover here, and Bounty Hunters are going to slow things down to a crawl with yet another loose super.
Yeah, and look, you can just see, even though you have to aim Friend Zoner now, it can also stun if someone gets knocked into a wall. So it is really, really hard to deal with M's on a map like this, where much of this terrain is still in place, in this indestructible stuff. And also the mansions dice will act as terrain for the purposes of that stun. Acre Lovers able to break back in now and actually have a couple of big supers ready to go.
I find myself questioning whether Wesley can get the super positioning he needs. Does, just barely. But before expiring, now Satisfier, and on the left side, pushed away, just hangs on. It should be a pinch between Prosy and Wesley. but they lose Prosy in the process. Wesley,
is he auto-aiming?
That could be a really bad move. It's counting up to 100, and it's only 6% left that Bounty Hunters need. It turns out not to be the worst move, but not optimal.
Okay, 84% accounting now, 94 though for Bounty Hunters. They just need a little bit more time on the point. The lollipop drop for Portox is going to allow him to close the gap, but there's going to be another shade, another shadow in his way, and here come Acre Lovers out of nowhere to take the round away. Once the map starts to get broken up, you see, really, you would think that would benefit Bounty Hunters to some degree, right? They've got the Lou, they can really start to slow you up, but there's a Lou super towards the end of the round that comes at a time where the rest of Bounty Hunters can't capitalize, and I'm sorry, that bull is still scary. It doesn't matter how good your comp is, dealing with pressure up close.
Well, this is what Acre Lovers comp did away